I'm 81. This is the life I actually lived. I'm sitting by the window again. I seem to do that a lot these days. The chair is the same one. The cushion is thinner than it used to be. Or maybe I am. I don't know. Things get lighter when they wear down. People do too. The light this morning is soft. Not bright, not dark. Just enough to remind me that the day has started without asking me whether I was ready. I can hear a car pass somewhere far away. Tires on pavement. A low, empty sound. My hands are resting on my legs. The skin is thin. You can see the veins clearly now. They look like little blue maps. I used to have strong hands, big hands. Hands that could lift things without thinking about it. Now they mostly just hold warmth. Or cups. Or nothing. Sometimes I sit like this for a long time before I realize I've been sitting at all. Breathing, feeling the weight of myself in the chair, listening to the small sounds a house makes when it's old and quiet. This is where I am now. This is who I am now. An old person in a quiet room, watching light move slowly across a wall. I don't feel 81 inside. I don't feel any number. I feel like a collection of moments that never really learned how to become one thing. Some mornings I wake up and I'm surprised. Not disappointed. Not grateful. Just surprised. As if waking were still a strange habit my body hasn't fully accepted. It takes longer to sit up. It takes longer to stand. My knees complain before I even move. My back joins in right after. The mirror in the bathroom shows me someone I recognize but don't remember meeting. A narrow face, white hair that refuses to lie flat, eyes that still look like mine though they sit in a different place now. Deeper, quieter. I don't rush anymore. There's nowhere left that needs me on time. I make coffee. I let it cool because hot things don't feel friendly to my mouth anymore. I sit again, always sitting. People think old age is loud. Hospitals, groaning, television, advice, visitors who talk too much. But most of it is this: stillness, space between sounds. Long stretches where nothing happens except breathing and remembering. I am not the person I was, but I am the one who remained. When I try to describe myself now, I don't reach for roles anymore. I was many things: a son, a husband, a worker, a friend, a stranger, a disappointment, a comfort, a voice on a phone, a body in a crowd. Now I am mostly a witness, to weather, to passing hours, to thoughts that arrive without knocking. There was a time when being someone mattered, when introductions carried weight, when names opened doors. Now my name mostly stays inside my head. That feels right. When you live long enough, you stop being a story other people are waiting to hear. You become a place where stories go to sit down. I wasn't remarkable. I didn't build anything that outlived me. I didn't save anyone. I lived. I woke up many thousands of times. I ate. I worked. I worried. I laughed sometimes without expecting to. I stood in lines. I lost things. I found other things that didn't fit as well. If I close my eyes, I don't see the big moments first. I see small rooms, a kitchen table with a chip in the edge, a hallway light left on at night, a pair of shoes by a door, a ceiling I stared at when sleep wouldn't come. My life feels more like a collection of ordinary places than a sequence of events. I was born into noise. That's what I'm told: a busy house, brothers, sisters, or cousins. The lines blur now, but there were many feet, many voices, always something happening. I remember being small and standing under a table while people talked above me. The world was legs and shoes and fabric moving, laughter coming from somewhere I couldn't reach. That might have been my first understanding of time, that it moved without asking where you were standing. My mother's hands, I still remember them better than her face. They smelled like soap and something warm. Bread, maybe. Or sun. She touched my hair when she passed me. Just once. Just enough to remind me she existed. My father was quieter, or maybe I only noticed him when he was. He sat a lot too, by windows, on steps, on the edge of beds before sleep. I didn't think of him as old then. He was just finished. Finished talking, finished explaining, finished trying to be understood. I think I am becoming him now. School was a long hallway, desks, paper, the sound of pencils. I wasn't good or bad. I was there. I learned to stay out of the way. That skill carried me far. I remember the weight of books in my bag, how proud I felt to be trusted with them, how quickly pride turns into habit. There were other children, faces I no longer have names for. But I remember their shoulders, their backs, the way some of them leaned forward into the world as if it were waiting for them. I did not lean forward, I watched. That was already my way. Time passed, it always does, but when you're young it feels like something you're moving through. Now it feels like something that's been moving through me. There were jobs, not careers, jobs. Places where I showed up and learned the shape of other people's expectations. I learned the sound of mornings in different buildings, the smell of different floors, the rhythm of lunch hours, the slow look people get in their eyes when they realize this is how they will spend most of their days. I was one of them. I wore clothes that made me look like what I was supposed to be. I stood where I was told to stand. I spoke when it was useful. I stayed quiet when it wasn't. I was good at being acceptable. There was a woman. There is always a woman in these stories. She had a voice that settled things. When she spoke, rooms softened. She laughed with her whole chest, not carefully, not quietly, like someone who didn't expect to be punished for taking space. I loved her. I know I did. The word feels thin now, but it is the one I have. We built a life that looked like lives are supposed to look. A place, routines, shared objects, shared fatigue, shared silences that were not yet heavy. I remember the way she read, one leg tucked under the other, her finger sometimes tracing lines she wasn't losing, just touching them as if to make sure they were real. I remember her shoes by the door, always turned slightly inward, as if they were listening. We had years together, real years, not the kind you summarize, the kind you repeat. Mornings, dishes, minor arguments that ended because someone had to leave for work. Evenings where nothing needed to be said because the day had already said too much. I don't remember the day things changed. That's the truth. There was no sharp edge to it. Just a slow rearranging, a quiet distance that neither of us knew how to cross without admitting it was there. We stayed kind. We stayed functional. We stayed. That is not the same as being close. I grew used to her shape in rooms more than her thoughts. She grew used to my reliability more than my presence. We were not unhappy. We were unawake. Age does not only happen at the end of life, it visits early. It sits down in relationships, in jobs, in habits. You feel it when you stop asking small questions, when you stop being curious about the person who eats across from you. I was very good at continuing. Then one day she wasn't there. Illness does not announce itself in the voice people expect. It comes quietly. A fatigue, a missed step, a doctor's tone changing without changing words. Hospitals smell the same no matter where you go, clean and frightened. I held her hand while machines explained things neither of us wanted to hear. Her skin was warmer than mine, even then. She looked at me once and said my name in a way she hadn't for years. Not as a habit, as a reaching. I did not know what to give her. I was not practiced at final things. She died while I was sitting in a chair too small for sleeping. My head fell forward. When I woke, she was already somewhere else. People tell stories about last words. What I remember is the quiet after. The way a room empties when a person leaves it for good. I went home to a house that had not yet learned how to be alone. Her shoes were still by the door. I did not move them for a long time. After that, life did what it always does. It continued without consulting me. There were years I don't speak about easily, not because they were dramatic, because they were thin. Days without edges, meals eaten because clocks suggested it, conversations that never went far enough to leave marks. I aged more in those years than in all the others combined. My body slowly became something I had to manage instead of inhabit. I learned new pains, new limits, new negotiations with stairs and sleep. Friends disappeared, some gently, some all at once. One by one, the people who knew the earliest versions of me left the world, and with them went proof that those versions had ever existed. That is a strange thing. To be the last person who remembers someone, to be the last place a voice ever lived. Now, at 81, I don't think in terms of chapters. I think in terms of weight. Which memories are light enough to lift? Which ones are heavy and better left where they are? Most of my life was not tragic. Most of it was not beautiful. Most of it was ordinary. And that, I am realizing very late, is exactly what it was. I am here. I am breathing. The light has moved from one side of the wall to the other. My coffee is cold. My hands are still resting where they were. This is the life I actually lived, not the one I explained, not the one I planned. This one. And it is still happening, quietly.